Beloved ones, today we're going to dive into a topic that deeply touches our spiritual journey: judgment and compassion. I know that throughout our path, we all come across the difficulty of dealing with judgment, whether from others or from ourselves. I myself, after years walking this path of spirituality, can tell you that this has been one of the most challenging barriers to overcome. And even now, in moments of testing, I realize that judgment still shows up. But the truth is, this process of judgment distances us from the peace and light we're searching for. For a long time, I found myself caught in this trap, believing that by judging, I was merely defending my truth. However, as I sought deeper connection within myself, I began to see that judgment is just a shield of the ego, a way to try and control what we don't understand. It was only recently, during a deep meditation experience in the 10-day Vipassana retreat, that I finally began to see a solution. Although the course didn't directly teach about judgment and compassion, the inner purification work and the constant observation of my thoughts led me to access a deeper understanding of the theme. It was there that I truly understood, in practice, that we can choose not to react, that compassion can replace judgment, and that every person, with all their imperfections, deserves our understanding. In this video, I want to share with you 4 tips that can help you overcome judgment and cultivate more compassion. It won't be an easy road, and it's not about achieving perfection overnight, but by applying these tips, we can take small steps toward a more balanced and harmonious life. These are teachings that, little by little, help us see others not through the lens of criticism, but through the eyes of acceptance, empathy, and understanding. Now, if you're ready to walk this journey of transformation with me, come along and let's discover together how these small changes can make a big difference in your life and in your spirituality. Continuing our journey to overcome judgment and cultivate more compassion, let's now explore the 4 tips that can help us transform the way we see the world, and most of all, the way we relate to others. I know life often challenges us with difficult situations and people, and the temptation to judge is a natural one, but we need to remember that judgment is simply a reflection of our own limited perception. With the tools I'm about to share, you'll be able to expand your vision and find a deeper way to connect with those around you. The first tip is a basic yet powerful concept. Understand ignorance. What do I mean by that? So often, we judge others because we think we know everything about a situation or about a person. But in reality, our understanding is limited. It's a fragmented view of the truth. Imagine you have only a partial view of something, like a blind person trying to describe an elephant by touching just one part of it. Each of us has a different perception of what surrounds us, and that includes other people. The truth is, no one has the full picture of another person's life. Even those closest to us have stories and motivations we may never fully understand. So, the first key to judging less and being more compassionate is recognizing that our truth is only part of the story, and that, as human beings, we all have limitations. When we acknowledge how little we truly know about others, we become more open and less prone to judgment. It's also essential to remember that a single act doesn't define who a person really is. All of us are made up of a set of actions, experiences, and decisions. When someone does something that bothers us, instead of reacting immediately and jumping into judgment, we can ask ourselves, does this act really represent the whole person? When we observe more calmly, we might realize that someone's behavior could be temporary and not reflect their entire being. So instead of rushing to conclusions, we can allow more space for other actions and behaviors to show us who that person truly is. This way, we avoid the trap of labeling someone entirely based on something they did once, and this helps us nurture a broader and more compassionate perspective. The second tip is about getting to know the person better. When you notice yourself beginning to judge someone, try putting yourself in their shoes. So often, judgment arises from a lack of understanding. When you take the time to truly get to know someone, understanding the motivations and the story behind their actions, you begin to realize that what you initially saw as negative might actually be an expression of something much deeper. In my own case, during the meditation retreat, I had an experience with someone who initially bothered me a lot. But after talking to them, I realized their behavior was a result of past trauma and inner struggles they were facing. When we begin to look at others through the eyes of understanding instead of criticism, our perception changes drastically. These first two tips are an invitation to look beyond the surface, to go deeper into understanding others. By putting these principles into practice, we begin to create space for true compassion to bloom. In the next tips, we'll explore deeper spiritual concepts that can help further transform our relationship with judgment and draw us closer to real compassion. Now, beloved ones, let's go even deeper and explore two more powerful tips that can truly transform how we perceive judgment and connect with compassion. These tips are an invitation to go beyond the limitations of the mind and embrace the truth of our existence, recognizing that spirituality and human evolution involve a continuous journey of learning and acceptance. When we begin to apply these lessons consciously, we can experience a significant transformation within ourselves, and as a result, in the world around us. The third tip involves understanding that in the dual world, there are always opposites. The reality we live in, beloved ones, is shaped by the interaction between light and shadow, good and evil. And it is this duality that allows us to see the beauty of life. Just like in a movie, where there's always a hero and a villain, without the villain, there would be no story. Duality is fundamental to spiritual evolution because without the presence of challenges and difficulties, we wouldn't be able to appreciate the growth that comes from overcoming them. When you face a difficult person or a challenging situation, remember that these are opportunities to evolve, to practice compassion, and to understand that we are all here to learn. The hardships others present to us may be exactly what we need for our own evolution. And by embracing that, we can view those situations more positively. Now we arrive at the fourth and most profound tip, a true turning point. This tip is not only about what we do, but about how we see ourselves and relate to the world. It's about accepting that everyone has their own path, with their own timing and life experiences. Spirituality teaches us that every soul has a unique journey. We cannot measure someone else's progress based on our own experience, because each being's journey is singular. Remember, we cannot compare others to ourselves in a one-dimensional way. If you are 30 years old and you meet someone who is 60, and they don't seem to have the same level of awareness or growth, remind yourself that you are not seeing the whole picture. Each one of us has our own lessons and moments of awakening. And when you truly understand this, compassion blooms. You stop demanding from others an evolution they haven't yet reached, and you begin to recognize the beauty and potential in every soul, no matter where they are on their path. These 4 tips, understanding ignorance, getting to know others, accepting duality, and embracing everyone's unique path, are powerful tools to overcome judgment and cultivate compassion. When you apply these practices in your daily life, you move closer and closer to your own spiritual awakening. And in doing so, you'll notice that judgment begins to fade, and compassion, in its purest form, takes its place. I would love to hear your reflections, beloved ones. How do these tips resonate with you? Which of these practices have you already started applying in your life? If you have any experiences or thoughts about how to overcome judgment and cultivate greater compassion, share them with me in the comments. I love hearing from you, and I hope this content has illuminated your path in some way. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, take this moment to do so and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the upcoming videos that will bring more wisdom to your evolution process. See you next time.